A murder over the weekend at the Cam River Heritage Park. Good evening and thank you for joining us. The death of a man whose body was discovered on Saturday is being investigated as a homicide. It's the fourth murder in Thunder Bay so far this year. According to a statement from City Police, a passerby discovered an unresponsive adult male in the Cam River Heritage Park and called 911 early Saturday morning. The victim was then transported to the regional hospital where he was pronounced dead. The major crimes and forensic identification units are involved in the ongoing investigation. Police declined an interview today and are releasing no further information at this time. Thunder Bay City Council will hear two separate deputations at tonight's meeting regarding a pair of significant projects. That includes a deputation from former mayoral candidate Shane Judge, urging Council not to continue on the path forward with the proposed indoor turf facility. Last week, Council approved moving ahead with an option next to the community auditorium with a bid cap of $42.7 million. That decision has yet to be ratified. A separate deputation will be provided by members of the cycling community, calling on Council to make the Vickers-Carrick Bridge construction a priority. Prior to the meeting, local cyclists are traveling to the site before heading to City Hall to show their support. The Mountaindale boat launch is now closed to the public as some significant renewal work started today. The project won't be finished until the end of September, but city officials believe it will be worth the payoff. One of the biggest improvements will see the parking area paved and dedicated spots created for boats and trailers. The renewal will make the launch more environmentally friendly as well, with upgraded stormwater management. City Parks planner Werner Schwar says starting the work this early means fishers will be able to use the launch again before the winter.
Rather than delaying it till the end of the year and having the fall season impacted and then never knowing with weather when it would end, we consciously made that decision to close it over the summer. Because during the summer months we have the other boat launches in the city. So we have the McKellar boat launch, which is a public facility, and we have the Fisherman's Park one at the current river mouth.
The work begins after two public consultation sessions were carried out by the city and the Lakehead Region Conservation Authority. Kiiwetinoong MPP Sol Mamakwa expressed concern at Queen's Park again today about a recent study that shows effluent from the Dryden paper mill continues to worsen mercury contamination in the Wabigoon River. Mamakwa is upset that there's been no immediate effort to change that following the release of the report.
Speaker, the Dryden paper mill continues to harm the waters and the rivers and Grassy Narrows First Nation. Since the release of the report on high mercury levels in the English and the Wabigoon rivers last week, no one from this government, including the minister, has been in touch with Chief Turtle about the study.
Our government will continue to take action to correct a historic wrong, and will continue to work with the Indigenous community towards remediation of this historic site when it comes to remediating the mercury contamination. As the member knows, and I spoke about it last week, Ministry technical experts met with Dr. Fireburn and the Indigenous communities to review the reports as part of their work. Dr. Fireburn also confirmed additional work is still needed to finalize the report, including field sampling. Contamination in the English and Wabigoon rivers is a complex issue, but let me be clear, we remain to be committed to solve this, and our government takes this very serious, and our first order of business has always been to correct a historic wrong, and we'll continue to do that.
Ontario's independent financial watchdog is launching an inquiry into the Ford government's decision to close 9 Service Ontario outlets and move them into Staples Canada stores. The request came from the Liberal finance critic who says the province hasn't been clear about the value of the plan. CTV's Siobhan Morris has the story.
It was a plan met with controversy, putting Service Ontario counters inside 9 Staples stores this year.
To bring vital government services closer to community hubs where Ontarians live, work and shop.
The promise is that the deal will provide more convenient access with longer hours and appointments. Ontario paid over $10 million to equip Staples stores. something that set off alarm bells for opposition politicians.
This was not a competitive bidding process.
The Liberal finance critic asked the Financial Accountability Officer to dig into the numbers, something he's agreed to do.
We really want to make sure that the government is transparent with taxpayers about why they're doing this. Is it really about saving money? Is it about helping their big box store friends?
The minister in charge has said the initial launch would save some $900,000 over 3 years in what was billed as a test run.
They announced this as a pilot, and before even getting the results of the pilot, the government already started to announce new locations. So that sounds like there's something else going on.
Last month, the government put out a call asking if other retailers would be willing to host Service Ontario counters too.
The Financial Accountability Officer isn't expected to share what he's learned until the start of 2025 at the earliest, and that could still change given other probes on his plate. At Queen's Park, Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
Today's rainy weather couldn't stop two of Thunder Bay's school boards from celebrating the beginning of Pride Month. Flags were raised at the Lakehead and Catholic board offices to show support and acceptance for their students. Justin Hardy reports.
Lakehead Public Schools and the Thunder Bay Catholic District School Board both raised the Progressive Pride flag at their board offices on Monday to kick off Pride Month. Officials from the two boards emphasized the importance of holding these events every year, as well as listening to their Gay Straight Alliance groups and what they want.
They're the ones in the GSAs that are having events. I was just at the Pride flag raising at Hammersholt, where the students, the GSA, planned it and did all the speeches and were out there with their flags around them.
We hear from students all the time how excited they are for this yearly event, how meaningful it is for them to have a platform and an opportunity to celebrate with each other as well as with staff, and really be able to recognize the importance of this day.
Today was honestly awesome. It was great. It was awesome to see the turnout and how many people showed up. I didn't expect this many people, but just speaking with my fellow peers for the GSA and talking about what we're proud of and what we strive for, it's just really nice to see. It's awesome.
Local Pride organizations were thrilled to see the school boards continue to support their students and be a welcoming place for 2S LGBTQIA+ people.
It's just so important for kids to know and for parents to know that the flag being raised at not just the school board, but at multiple schools, and multiple schools always do have Pride Lives Here signs and different flags and rainbows within their classrooms. Just to know that the kids have that understanding that they're in a safe space. It saves lives.
Today was spectacular to witness the stories from students in the Catholic School Board who are better today because of the flag flying on these schools.
With the Progressive Pride flag now flying over both school board offices, GSAs in most of the high schools they oversee are now planning their own Pride celebration events this June. Justin Hardy, TBT News.
Officials with Age-Friendly Thunder Bay were at City Hall today to celebrate Seniors Month. They raised their flag and presented awards to two local seniors. Lee Noonan has more on that.
The age-friendly Thunder Bay flag was hoisted at City Hall, and Mayor Ken Boshkoff proclaimed June to be Seniors Month here. Randy Moore, chair of Age-Friendly Thunder Bay, says it's becoming more and more important to celebrate seniors as our general population is getting older.
Seniors have paved the way for all of the generations coming to succeed and to live the life that we lead. So we need to celebrate that.
Moore presented the Rebecca Johnson Senior of the Year Awards for 2024 and 2023 to two local women who each stood out for their committed volunteerism.
They've both given countless hours and have cared more about the people that they work with than themselves. They have both sacrificed family time and a lot of personal time to make sure that the people they work with have been safe, happy, and healthy.
2024 award winner Pam Brusadin is a longtime volunteer with St. Joseph's Care Group, as well as a number of other local organizations. She hopes the award might inspire others to get out and volunteer.
I started St. Joe's about 8+ years ago with Hogarth. Then I've transitioned to Sister Lila Greco, and I've also volunteered at Hospice Northwest, Dewdrop Inn, and volunteer at St. Patrick's Cathedral. I do a lot there, and just helping within the community with my friends and family members if they need help.
2023 award winner Wendy Addison says she felt honored and surprised by her award. She brings more than 20 years' experience in emergency response to her volunteer work with the Red Cross.
It was just some work that I did enjoy doing when people were in need, having been evacuated or had a fire or a medical emergency. They were the kinds of things that I enjoyed being able to help out in situations where people needed help right away.
Age Friendly Thunder Bay is a community-based group that advocates for seniors' independence and quality of life in the city. Lee Noonan, TBT News.
A few dozen volunteers and participants were at Boulevard Lake yesterday to raise awareness and money for about 300,000 Canadians living with Crohn's disease or colitis. The annual Gutsy Walk is the largest fundraiser for Crohn's and Colitis Canada. It takes place across the country with walks in more than 50 communities. This year, the national goal for the walk is $3 million. Among this year's participants was Jessica Jersik, who lives with Crohn's disease. She says the support is amazing to see.
Crohn's and colitis, those kind of diseases are really isolating because they are those bathroom diseases, right? Nobody likes to talk about those types of things, and just to see the support in the community and everyone coming out to support such a great cause is really amazing.
A lot of people I know suffer from this disease, and it's not a fun one. So anything we can raise to help further the research towards finding some solutions, something to make life better, it's important.
By the time the local walk began, Thunder Bay fundraisers had already raised more than $10,000. Donations are being accepted until June 30th at crohnsandcolitiscanada.ca. Well, yesterday's sunny weather helped bring out a lot of people to Chippewa Park. The popular amusement rides opened for the season this weekend, and residents young and old got the chance to climb aboard their longtime favorites. Justin Hardy has more on that.
Making a day out of stopping by Chippewa Park to bring the kids on fun and thrilling rides started in 1926 with the purchase of the park's first ride, and has grown to become a serious annual tradition for many Thunder Bay families over the years. Though prices may be a little higher than they were nearly 100 years ago, families still want their kids to inherit those same childhood memories on rides like the Tilt-A-Whirl and bumper cars, which were purchased for the park in 1967.
A little bit smaller than I remember, but also I was a kid, right? But it seems to be lots of kids here having fun, and yeah, it looks like they cleaned it up pretty nice.
Yeah, it's great. It's nice to see even the merry-go-round fixed up from back in the day, so it's looking really good.
While the carousel will be delayed in operating this year due to some additional adjustments needed for the new fabric roof, there are still many rides for parkgoers young and old to enjoy. Though the kids visiting Sunday had their attention divided between the Tilt-A-Whirl and the bumper cars, in the end there was a clear winner for favorite ride.
And what's been your guys' favorite ride so far?
The Tilt-A-Whirl. Also the Tilt-A-Whirl. It's really...
Probably the bumper cars.
Tilt-A-Whirl.
Mine is the bumper cars.
Tilt-A-Whirl.
Rides are now open every Saturday and Sunday from 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. Starting July 3rd, rides will be open for their weekday operation, in which they'll be open Wednesday through Sunday. Rides will continue to operate throughout the summer and close on Labor Day. Justin Hardy, TBT News.
And it's a good thing that those rides were open this weekend, Fiona, because great conditions really most of the weekend, other than a little bit of rain on Saturday morning, but yeah, that wet stuff is back today.
It certainly is, and it's looking like it's going to stick around. Today we had a lot of rain in the morning, started around 8 a.m. or so, continued until the early afternoon. That was with an early morning low of 9. We only warmed up to 15, but once the afternoon kicked in, it seemed to taper off for the most part. A lot of cloudy skies. Winds fairly consistent from the northeast, ranging from about 11 to 19 kilometers per hour. If we take a look, it was a fairly large system that moved through the day, and this is where we're at this hour. A little bit of rain still up to the north of Lake Superior, but to the west, It's cleared out nicely in Fort Frances. They're actually enjoying some sunshine and beautiful temperatures, 20 for the Fort, Dryden, Kenora. That was after an early morning low of about 14, similar overnight lows in Red Lake. They've had mostly cloudy skies this afternoon, and they're at their high of 19. But as you head further eastward, as that system moved through, it's definitely a little bit cooler in Greenstone. They've had rain pretty much all afternoon. They are at their high of the day of 15. Nipigon just at 12. Marathon enjoying a little bit more heat at 19, 20 in Wawa. And Sault Ste. Marie had mostly cloudy skies. The rain has just hit them in the last hour or so. They're currently at 24. Now here in the city of Thunder Bay, it's going to be a mild one. A low of 10 is expected, and any lingering rain should taper off this evening. And then we're looking at about a 30% chance of showers overnight under cloudy skies and winds very, very light. But as the week progresses, well, it's looking pretty iffy for most of the days. In fact, we're looking at a fair amount of rain coming back in late tomorrow afternoon and overnight, and then the next day and the next day and the next day, there's a chance for more. So you definitely want to keep your umbrellas handy. Here's the good news though, the seasonally warm temperatures are going to continue. So little bit of extra rain during the week, not always a bad thing, because that means there's a good potential that the weekend will look nice. So
yes, and I do tend to give you a hard time when we have days
Yes, you
like
do.
today, but
Yes, you
coming
do.
off a weekend like we had, and yeah, we can take a little bit of rain during the week. Thanks
Absolutely.
a lot, Fiona. All right, there's a labor dispute that could impact things at the border and at airports in this country. Canada Border Services employees will be in a strike position later this week, and while they can't walk off the job, well, things may slow down a little bit. We'll tell you more after the break.